ArkansasRadio.com radio station. Thanks so much for joining us for another edition of our open mic program. Congressman French Hill with us right now. And Congressman, thanks for taking time and talking with us about what's going on in Arkansas and the world.
Bob, it's always good to be back with you. I always appreciate the opportunity.
We got to talk about the landmark housing bill. It became law. That's something you pushed for. We've talked about it here on Open Mic. Tell us how this is going to impact those new home buyers.
Well, what's exciting is this bill, which was years in the making, now will allow cities working with counties and working with the state, working with the private sector, to come up with new ways to have lower cost housing in their community. And I think over the next couple of years, you'll be able to see cities have new zoning that will have different kinds of units, different price points for people, and the building codes will be more competitive. And all that at the margin will produce more housing and more accessible housing at lower costs.
You know, you're already seeing that. They're gearing up a lot of different neighborhoods you're hearing people talk about.
Well, we're blessed in Arkansas. First, let's admit that no matter where you are in Arkansas, you have some housing that is a lot more affordable than around the country. I mean, I just was in East End, Saline County, Bryan and Saline County, looking at some really nice new starter home type developments that are very affordable compared to big cities. But this bill helps everybody lower the cost of housing and make it more accessible to more families.
Everybody talks about their first house. That's a big thing. You know, we've all had that first house. A lot of people don't realize Pam and I started in a 10 by 55 foot trailer. I don't even think that size trailer is even available anymore, how small it was, you know.
And I also empathize with the fact that it's tough right now for families to buy a house. I mean, the average first-time homebuyer is 40 years old now. And when I bought my house back in 1986, it was 30, and I was about 30 when I bought it. But mortgage rates, when I bought that first house, were 15% fixed for 30 years. Oh, wow. So I had saved for my down payment, and I got an adjustable rate mortgage. So it was creative financing in order to get me in my first house. So I empathize with high interest rates right now. And my goal is that we move back to 30 and away from 40 years old for that first-time home buyer.
You know, that's something you really look at, and we've all talked about. Okay, tariffs, Canada, your input.
Well, Arkansas benefits from the United States, Mexico, Canada trade agreement. We are huge beneficiaries. I'd say a third of our trade, two ways, is with Mexico and Canada. So we need to get that right. I would propose that we extend the USMCA agreement. I don't want Canada and the U.S. fighting, right now at this point in the economic cycle. So I hope that cooler heads prevail and that Canada and the U.S. can find agreement.
When they talk about the tariffs, I know the rice, that's a big thing. You go to Japan, it's like 100% tariff on that rice. So there is a lot of that goes on we never talk about.
Yeah, well, I negotiated with Japan 30 years ago when I worked in the government for President Bush Sr., and you're right. Some people treat certain products like a religion. And in Japan, rice is a religion. But we've managed over the years to we sell rice to them wholesale. We sell rice to them through our rice going into sake. So tariffs are good to open markets. Tariff threats are good to open markets. But they're not good if they become permanent because they raise costs and are disruptive. So I just hope that President Trump and Prime Minister Carney can find a place to land here because I think it benefits Arkansas in the long run.
Well, the big thing here, I guess, is the elephant in the room that everybody talks about. It's on every newscast, Iran. This is one that just keeps on going.
Yeah. Well, first, I commend the president for working with allies to say once and for all that Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. I'm upset by the back and forth. I think we should have finished the military operation back in March because the Iranians can't be trusted. President Trump's made the right decision to make sure they don't get a nuclear weapon, that they can't threaten their neighbors with intercontinental ballistic missiles, and that they stop this export of terror. They're the world's leading terrorist country. And so I appreciate the president's leadership on that. But I think the economic pressure and the military pressure, I hope, will bring them to the table so that we can conclude this and not have the disruption in the oil and gas markets that are, hurting folks here at home.
Something when you look at this Iran, you can't trust them. And some of the old heads of military that have retired, they say, you'd never give a ceasefire. That just gives the enemy to replenish all their weapons. I mean, this is just the ceasefire, and you think you can trust them, and then they go right back.
Right. And this is why constant, steady pressure, economic pressure and military pressure, and a coalition. I think the president has support from Gulf allies, obviously from Israel and from some other countries. But when he went into this effort this year, I think he should have gone into it with a longer term strategy that said, here are our allies that are going to help win this conflict, and stick with it until the military threat from Iran is completely neutralized. The on again, off again, I don't feel comfortable with that. I think it's caused it to drag out.
All right. And then we got to talk about the Veterans Advisory Council that you came to Searcy about. Talk a little bit of what that's all about.
Well, 4 times a year, we try to bring veterans together around the district. I have 8 counties in central Arkansas, 750,000 people that I represent. And I'm proud to be here in August in White County in the area with our veterans. We listen to what's on veterans' minds. We talk to them about casework. We tell them what we're hearing and seeing from the VA. We just had the Deputy Secretary, Veteran Secretary Lawrence in Little Rock 6 weeks ago now. And we have a good give and take, because my goal is to serve our veterans and our military families. This district has a lot of veterans and a lot of military families because of Camp Robinson and Little Rock Air Force Base. I'm proud over the past decade I've served in the House that $100 million I've gotten back for our veterans and earned benefits. So these meetings are very important for me to hear directly from veterans around the district.
My favorite thing that you do is the Fleece Award. That's the one that I guess, it just never, I thought you'd run out by now, but it's never going to run out, is it?
Waste, fraud, and abuse is a major challenge in Washington and always has been, going back to Thomas Jefferson's day, I'm sure. But it's estimated now that some $500 billion is waste, fraud, and abuse. $500 billion, $500 billion. So think of all the good that would do towards reducing our deficit if we could get our handles on it. You've seen the president tackle it up in Minnesota with these Somali cartels stealing money from Medicaid, for example. But for the years I've been in Congress, I try every month to give a Golden Fleece Award, which is the dumbest thing I read about that month, either in a policy, a failure of a policy, or in a money wasting situation. This month, the big winner was FAA for not guarding our air traffic system from cyber threat. Bob, every day, Iran, China, Russia, North Korea are probing every cyber system we have, every IT system in the country, to threaten it, bring it down, disrupt it. And can you imagine how dangerous that is with air traffic? We're millions of people in the air over the United States every day. So this letter says, you've found vulnerabilities in your cyber protection, but you're not fixing them. Get them fixed. And so they're the Golden Fleece winner for the month.
Well, thanks for taking time and talking with us here on Open Mic. It's always a joy to find out who is wasting money in America.
Well, we could be here all night and we won't even put a dent in it. But my job every day as a congressman is an oversight, getting answers for Arkansans and getting answers and stopping waste, fraud, and abuse in the areas that I learn about. So that's what I'm up to every day. And thanks for letting me be with you today.